Hello guys, welcome to QNAP Live Broadcast. I'm Sam, the host for the topic today. And today we're going to talk about our new NAS TVS-x72XT series. Well, I have our PM David here today, and he will do the demo for the data transmission speed. And of course, we'll show you how to install some expansion devices and the expansion card inside of this NAS. Welcome, David. So before we start everything, please look at the live.qnap.com. This is our new website. In the future, we will put all of our videos and all the videos from the other distributors and all the YouTubers, and you can see every video right up here. And the advantages is that you will have every of the PowerPoint at the right hand side to each of the videos, and you just have to click each of the slides, and the video will be led to the corresponding time. It's very easy for you to check the information you want, and easier for you to share each of the timing for your friend. Okay, let's get into the slides. So this is our TVS-x72XT, and we can check for the subtitle. That is a 8th generation Intel Core processor. So I believe the power is good enough, right?
Yes, sure.
And then it has 10 gigabit and Thunderbolt 3, both on one NAS. So it's more easier for groups. Like one group, we have Mac user and Windows user. We can all connect to the same NAS and have a faster working efficiency.
Yes.
Yes. So please, David, tell us about this NAS.
Okay. So the X72XT series, it comes with 3 models, 4 bay, 6 bay, and 8 bay. And before I introduce the whole complete NAS product line, and I would like to talk about the 4K era. Right now, I think it is 4K era. I mean, even though your cell phone, you're recording or take a picture, it's 4K. So in the 4K era, you need a faster and bigger storage. That is the reason you can see the data rate in this table. Before, we have only Full HD, and the data rate is around 220 megabit per second. But it comes to the 4K era, so you can see the footage and the data rate is getting bigger from 220 megabit. Right now, I think it's up to 6.6 gigabit per second. So that means after you taking the video, you need a high capacity storage and faster storage to store and transfer the data in a high speed, or it consumes a lot of time. So that is the reason faster and bigger storage is important for the 4K video editing industry.
Of course.
Yep. And I think it's a news, right? Just recently, there's a news. Apple just launched a new iMac Pro, and all the iMac Pro equipped with the Thunderbolt 3 port. But there is one thing special this time. This new iMac Pro has a 10 gigabit Ethernet port. Before, no Mac product has the 10 gig Ethernet port, but right now with the 2018 new iMac Pro, it has a 10 gig port. That's interesting. Before, they only have Thunderbolt 3, so the Thunderbolt 3 is used for high-speed data transmission. And right now, you have an alternative 10 gigabit Ethernet port. So that means you can connect to 10 gigabit Ethernet easily. You don't need to have other like adapter or converter convert the Thunderbolt 3 to the 10 gig environment.
And I believe that is because the Apple has found that more and more people are get themselves into the video editing industry.
Yes.
And they also know that for nowadays the requirement for the resolution to each of the video and data files are getting bigger and bigger. So in case to take care of all the like computer users and internet users, that is why they decided to put a 10 gigabit Ethernet inside of this new iMac Pro. And I think since that is the future, and also the X72XT series is also now catching up the future.
Yes. Actually, a long time ago, all the Thunderbolt NAS series has Thunderbolt 2 or Thunderbolt 3 port and 10 gig port as well. So this time the TVS-x72XT series also has this function.
Yes.
All the models have Thunderbolt 3 port, two Thunderbolt 3 port and one 10 gig port, just like the iMac Pro.
Yes.
And all the series is powered by the Intel S generation coprocessor. We use the Pentium Gold, Core i3 and Core i5. And the reason we want to use this generation, and we think in this generation, S generation Intel coprocessor, we do see the performance enhanced. If you still remember, QNAP has X71 series a long time ago. I think that is a fourth generation of the Core i processor. And according to our internal test, the 8th generation processor is much faster than before. And this is the information from Intel. They claim the response time and performance up to 33% faster than the I think 1 or 2 years ago processor. And of course, they also provide very smooth 4K environment. That can help you to fast content creation up to 32%. And depends on the processor. Some processor has the Intel Turbo Boost technology. That means if you require more power from the CPU frequency can boost to higher frequency. Yeah. So for us, Intel Core i, the 8th generation of the Intel Core processor is very good, very powerful, especially for the 4K editing industrial.
Of course.
Yep. Okay, let's get into the specification. And this is the front view of the TVS-x72XT. We have LED indicators. We have depends the model. We have 4, 6, or 8 SATA base, and also power button, LCM, and there is USB 3.1 Gen 2. It is 10 gig speed, and with the one touch copy button. That means you can connect the USB 3.1 Gen 2 external drive, and just click the button. You can transfer the data from the NAS or to the NAS in a 10 gig speed.
Sure. And I also see something that is not on the cover page, is that for this X72XT NAS, we also have the M.2 slot, right?
Yeah, you found that. In the LED indicator, there are 2 LEDs for the M.2. So I will introduce the M.2 a little bit more detail later.
That is a extra surprise for me.
Yes, right. Okay, this is the real view. We have 2 PCIe slots, but there one slot is occupied by the Thunderbolt 3 adapter. So at the top, you can see there are 2 Thunderbolt 3 port and one spare PCIe slot. The back of the PCIe slot is PCIe Gen 3x4, and we have one 4K HDMI port, 10 gig port, 2 gigabit port, and 4 USB port. And of course, we have a smart cooling fan. And for the 8-bay, this is an 8-bay model. For the 8-bay model, we have 2, and it provided enough air for the hard drive part. Yes. Let's talk about this time the 8th generation Intel Core i. This is the specification of this GPU inside the core processor. And this time Intel has the graphic 610 and 630, depends on the CPU. If you choose the Pentium Gold, it has the 610, and if you choose Core i3 and i5, it has 630. Yes, and the information here just give you an idea. Before, you can see just around maximum clock rate is around 500 megahertz or 700 megahertz, but right now you can see the clock rate of the GPU is maximum is around 1.1 gigahertz. So it has no problem with the 4K Ultra HD video playback, or if you want to have transcode video format from like a 4K to Full HD, there is no problem with this processor. Okay, this is the internal view. Of course, we have 2 sides, and this side is CPU side. CPU is just under the big heatsink.
Of course.
And for better airflow and for the cooling down the CPU, in this X72XT, we have a big heatsink for the CPU, and we have two 6cm centrifugal blower. There are two blower, actually there are two. Just push the air past through the heatsink and just make sure the CPU is working in a proper temperature.
Okay.
Of course, the blower supports smart fan. Okay, this is the M.2 slot, just like Sam just mentioned. Yeah, we do have two M.2 slots in the NAS. So you can install M.2 slot into our NAS, and the specification is a little bit different from other QNAP NAS. And before, we also have NAS equipped with the M.2 slot, but most of them are SATA 6GB. And this time for the 72XT, we have NVMe M.2 slots. So it's not SATA, it's NVMe. The specification is PCIe Gen 3 by 2.
Okay.
It provides I think maybe three times more bandwidth compared with the SATA 6GB. And below is the performance chart. We compare the SATA hard drive, SATA SSD, and the NVMe. You can see the most higher part is the NVMe. That is at the left side. For example, the information is from the Intel SSD, NVMe SSD. The specification is also Gen 3 by 2. The sequential read performance for the NVMe SSD is around 1450. That is NVMe PCIe Gen 3 by 2.
Yes.
But you can check for the SATA SSD, it's 500. Normally SATA SSD, the performance sequential rewrite is around 450 to 550. And hard drive is around just 150. Sorry, 150 to 180.
Okay.
That is the normal hard drive performance. So that's the reason we provide you the M.2 with the specification PCIe Gen 3 by 2. That means you can have higher throughput, higher IOPS, and especially you need to have the storage for a small I/O transaction. The IOPS is quite important for this kind of application.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. This time we also provide you a way to upgrade your memory. And in the old X72XT series, there are two SODIMM slots. It supports DDR4, and the SODIMM slot is in the NAS. But if you want to upgrade the memory, you don't have to use your screwdriver to take out the top cover and doing those stuff. No, just plug out the hard drive tray, and you can easily install or upgrade your memory.
Okay.
And QNAP also provide memory accessory. Here is the reference for you. We offer you 2GB, 4GB, 8GB, and 16GB.
Sure.
Okay, since we have 10GB, we do the test in QNAP lab. We test the test environment as we have a PC. The processor is in Intel Core i7, and there is a 10GB port on the PC, and we do 3 different tests. The first one is we test the iSCSI. The second one is we test our Samba service, and we use the like IO meter, this kind of performance test tool to get the number here. You can see the number is around over 1,100 megabyte per second. And the last test is in the Windows. We just simply drag a big file from the Windows to the NAS. You can see the performance is also pretty high. It's around 1,000.
Around
over 1,100 megabyte.
Yeah.
So this is just give you an idea.
How fast it is.
Yes, 10GB is, and I think that is also the reason why Apple starts to have 10GB port. It's easier to connect all the PC or other third-party PC. Yeah. Okay.
So that is why we say that the new NAS is a Soulmate to the new iMac Pro.
I was thinking it's a Soulmate of the new iMac Pro. We also have Thunderbolt 3. We also have a 10GB. So if you are a new Mac new iMac Pro users, you can just choose whatever you want, no matter Thunderbolt 3 or 10 gig.
Yeah, and I think the best part is if you were having a working group that all use Windows.
Yes.
Yeah, and now you want to purchase the new iMac Pro, and you just have to purchase another TVS-x72 series, then you can like combine every different system and work together.
Yes. Yeah. You can have you can connect to the iMac Pro via the Thunderbolt interface, and you also can have another 10 gig switch to connect to the 10 gig environment, and all the Windows PC can connect all together.
Of course.
You can share and collaborate easily.
Yeah.
Right. Since we talk about the Thunderbolt, and this is the reference we tested before, and how about just I can show you the performance in live demo. Okay? Yeah. In my environment right now here, I have A72XT, which is Intel Core i5 processor, and on my desk I have another MacBook Pro. Sorry, it's not new iMac Pro. Okay, it's just a MacBook Pro.
Eventually, we will have it. We will have one right here.
Yes.
Every of our PM to do the demo.
Yeah, we need to have the this one and test the maximum performance of this NAS.
Can you just suggest my boss to buy one?
Okay, I will talk about Jeffrey.
How about the bigger one?
Okay. This is the MacBook Pro. It's 2016 version, 15 inch, and this is the information of this MacBook Pro. And right now the MacBook Pro is connecting to the A72XT and via the Thunderbolt. And this is the IP address of the Thunderbolt NAS. And I'm going to use the RJ System Test. It's a performance test tool. It's pretty popular. You can set up the your test pattern, just like a resolution. So this time I would choose the resolution. Okay, let's choose the 5K. It's the maximum resolution, and test file size 4 GB first, and choose the target. I already connect the. I haven't connected to the NAS. Sorry, I haven't connected to the NAS. Let me enter the IP address here. This one. I connect to the NAS via Samba, and I'm going to mount the web share folder in the NAS. Right now, I can see the NAS over here, and choose the web folder. Okay, I'm going to start the test. Currently, right now, it is transferring a 4 GB testing tool, and I think you can feel it's pretty fast. It's already done the job, and I would like to choose another bigger size file, like 16 GB. Okay, it is write test right now. So the we write a test file from the MacBook Pro to the NAS.
And it's very stable, I think.
Yeah, the performance.
It's not like
no up and down. No. It's pretty stable. So you can see the normally the performance would over 1,100. Sometimes, for example, the write performance right now is 1,200. The read performance is similar.
Almost like
almost similar.
2,100.
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
So that is the test, and let's go back to the slides. So if you don't have a Thunderbolt 3 device, what can we do?
If you don't have Thunderbolt 3, it's also okay because we have 10 gig, we have gigabit. So don't think this NAS just a Thunderbolt NAS. You can treat it as just a normal NAS as well. So even though you have Windows environment, you have Windows PC doesn't have Thunderbolt port, you still can connect to the NAS via no matter 1 gigabit port or 10 gigabit port. There is no problem with that. Of course, if you have Apple products, you can connect directly via the Thunderbolt 3. And some people may have the Apple product but equipped with the Thunderbolt 2. So don't worry, you just go to the Apple store and purchase a adapter. Apple sells a Thunderbolt 3 to Thunderbolt 2 adapter. Just connect the adapter to your device, and then you can still connect to our Thunderbolt 3 NAS.
Sure.
So it's an ideal solution to the Mac and Windows users. They can do the just like cross-platform collaboration.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we have done the demo, so we just
have done
this
the
part.
Okay.
And here's another new thing, right?
Yes, I think I would like to introduce this a little bit, but it's not a launch, and we are going to have very detailed introduction maybe later, later in this month. This just give you an idea.
Later in this month is already end of September.
Sorry, later in next month. Yeah, it's end of September. Later in October. Okay. QNAP provides actually very versatile accessories, and especially for this time, we will also provide this unique stuff. This is a Thunderbolt 3 to 10 gig converter. So that means you can connect this converter to your Mac. If your Mac has Thunderbolt 3 port, connect to it, and then after that you can connect to the 10 gig environment.
Sure.
And we support two different 10 gig interface. One is M-base-T, that means just like a 10 gig base T, RJ45 port. Another one is SFP Plus, and you can expect maybe at the October you can see the complete introduction. It's coming soon. Since we talk about the 10 gig, if you remember, QNAP has the 10 gig switch.
Yeah, we have two types, one for 12 port and the other for 8 port. Both of the spec, they have full 10 gig to each of the ports. So and we can check on the 12 port one. You will see that there's actually 16 ports. So why is that? Because we have 8 to the ports are combo port. So you can choose to use SFP Plus or the RJ45. And when you plug both RJ45 and the SFP Plus on the same number of the ports, the SFP Plus will take the first priority. So it's very easy for you to use. And for the 8-port one, you will also see 12 ports on the back panel. We have 4 in combo ports. So it's also very easy for you to choose and expand your 10 gig environment.
Right. Okay. And if you still remember, I mentioned before, we have one spare PCIe slot. Specification is PCIe Gen 3x4. So you can leverage this slot to expand your network bandwidth. And also, if you want to have more NVMe SSD, you can also use this slot. Okay? So how can you expand your network bandwidth? QNAP has
versatile of the network accessories.
Yeah, we have 1 gig, we have 10 gig, and in the 10 gig we have SFP Plus and the 10 gig base T, RJ45, both of them. And also, if you need to have a wireless, just like make the NAS as a wireless AP station, we have this QPKG app in the NAS, and we also provide this accessory, wireless NICs. Just install it into the PCIe slot, then you can upgrade your NAS as a wireless AP.
Yeah, you can also create your private network.
Yes, right, right.
And also we have several kinds of the QM2 cards, and we can check for these 3 specs. We have 4P, 2P, and we have different specs. Well, the P is PCIe, right?
Yeah, P means PCIe. 4P means there are 4 PCIe ports on the card.
And the number back there is like you can see the generation and how many like by 8 or by 4 to each of the cards, which affects the bandwidth.
Yes, right.
Of the transmission speed, right?
Yes.
So the 4P, that means you can have 4 SSD, M.2 SSD on that, and the 2P you can have 2 SSD on each of the 2 QM2 cards. So depends on your usage. You can have 4 of the M.2 SSD and make it like RAID 5, RAID 6, and then you can also activate the Q tier to give you a more faster reading speed or writing speed.
Yes. Yeah. Correct.
And not only that, we will also give you something new after we done the introduction of our new SSD and Snapshot part.
Yes, right. since we talk about the SSD, and actually in the QTS 4.3.5 we have this function already, and I would say it's an excellent function for the user who are using the SSD. And in this time we have a software-defined SSD extra provisioning, or sometimes we would say OP, over provisioning. And we also provide advanced SSD cache, and also a better way for the snapshot recovery. Yes, right. This is the reason why we want to provide this kind of function. If you are an SSD users, you would feel at the beginning when you just purchase this SSD, the performance is excellent. Very fast, the response is good. But after a while, after you write the data into the SSD, remove them and write, you would see the performance starts to decrease, and the performance drop would you will feel this SSD is getting slower. The response time is getting higher. The reason is SSD and hard drive, they have different way to write the data into the block. For the hard drive, if you delete the data, it releases the block right away, so you can just write the new data into this block or into the page right away. But for the SSD, if you have data in the SSD and after you deleting it, you cannot use the space right away. You need to do something like you have to erase the content and move the block, collect and move the block and collect the space, and then you can write the data into the SSD. So if you have a new SSD, you can feel the performance is excellent, but after a while, and you will see the performance is gonna drop. So that is the reason all the SSD vendors, they provide a function called over provisioning. The idea of the over provisioning is they generate a space in the SSD, and it is just like a spare space. If your SSD is almost full and you still have data right into the SSD, the data will go to the spare space first. And that is the function provided by the SSD. But in the QNAP QTS, we provide the QNAP way that is done by the QTS. So that is the reason we call this is a software-defined extra over provisioning. We also provide a similar function in the QTS level. So you can define how many
percentage you want.
Percentage
from
of
10
the
to 60, I think.
Yes. And we also provide you a tool. You can that would help you to decide the percentage. Because if you reserve a huge space, that will sometimes it's a waste.
It's a waste, of course.
So we also provide you a tool that will help you to decide how much space need to be reserved in the SSD. Okay.
Here.
This just give you an idea. We get this information from, I think that is from.
Is that Intel or?
That is the information that is Samsung. And the first one is Samsung SSD, and the second one that is Intel.
SSD.
In the chart, you can feel the advantage of the over provisioning, no matter that is the function built in the SSD or provided by the QNAP. At the beginning, you can see the performance is high, and after a while, it's gonna drop. So the over provisioning is going to provide you the stable performance.
It's like young people talk about love at the very first beginning. Oh, so
after
a while,
after marriage or
maybe not even married.
It's an interesting example. Okay, so that is the advantage of QNAP software-defined over provisioning. Okay, for the SSD cache, we also have a new function we call that is the write-only cache. Before we only provide read-only and rewrite cache, but some applications, the scenario of that application is they frequently write data to the hard drive, but they hardly or rarely read the data from the
SSD,
NAS,
right?
or
the NAS.
yes. For example, if you have if you build up an IoT environment, you have a lot of sensors, and or if you have a surveillance system, most of the time you record or put the data into the NAS.
Yes.
But if you enable the read-write cache, no matter read or write data will store in the SSD.
So it's a waste of the bandwidth.
Yes, a little bit. Yeah. So that's the key reason that we provide you write-only cache this time. It's new in the 4.3.5.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, we also can configure the SSD as a single RAID 1, RAID 0, and of course RAID 10.
Okay, sure. Okay.
This is the this is just explain how the write-only cache works.
Yeah.
When the data comes into the your system, the data will go into the NVMe or write cache first, and then flush into the hard drive or as the rest of the SSD. And when the application they want to read or get the data from the NAS, they will get the data from the not from the cache, from the hard disk or SSD directly. Okay.
So the next part we will also talk about a new thing for the snapshot. Well, basically we have a conclusion right here that we done the analysis and the questionnaire. 50% of the business they want their recovering time should be within 1 hour, but another 50 of them will have it more than 1 day. So it's a very important word called RTO. It's called recover time objective. Basically to explain that is like how fast you can recover all your data file back to normal after your disaster happened. So if you can make it like less than 1 hour is the best condition, because running a business, there's no way that you can accept downtime, because time is money. So if you have longer downtime, which means that you will lose a lot of money from your customer. So we now provide you several different ways to give you a recover to all of your snapshot. Well, at the previous time, we can only, like I have one snapshot here and another snapshot vault right there. But if I want to check for the preview or I want to recover everything, I have to get all the data file back from the snapshot vault. And at the local side, I can do the preview or I can, do the recovery. So since the data file is getting bigger and bigger, and we consider about the difficulties for all of our users when they are having two different branches all the way like a long distance. So we have several new ways. And what can it help? Like this is what we just mentioned, right? Because we understand that the data file is getting bigger. So we now provide you more and more machines that can have 10 gigabit inside of 10 gigabit port inside of the NAS. Or like this one, X72XT series, we have 2 of the Thunderbolt 3 port to make you have a faster transmission speed. So what can it do? The 3 support types are right here. First, you can just select your file and folder to restore back to source, like what we have done previously. Or you can just select any of the clone remote snapshot as a new volume or a new LAN into the same NAS, but into another, like take another capacity. So you will have 2 same volume or LAN. And it's very easy for you to choose like which one I need or which one I don't need. And of course, we can just take see the preview, check the preview at the remote NAS. And we can also like recover everything at the remote NAS. This is what we can do. So this is another. This is the new 3 ways that we can provide to you to have a better efficient when you want to decrease your RTO. The shorter the RTO is, the better your enterprise work when you're having a downtime. And of course, like a very extreme example, if we are having another branch like in another country, and if I want to like back up and restore like several terabytes of the data file, and it's not really easy to reach that because the bandwidth when you want to transmit everything back from here to there, for example, USA to like Japan or maybe other places. And this is how we can do. We can just export the image file from the Snapshot Vault. And then we can use Express, or we can use other ways to make the export file through the USB or through the Blu-ray disc. And then we send to the local host, and we can just use the DOS or the Blu-ray to import all the image file. And I believe that this will be a faster way.
Sometimes it's faster because the network connection between two countries maybe is limited, and also when we do the snapshot or snapshot backup to the remote site, it's doing the job incrementally.
Of course.
You back up a little bit every day, but when the time you want to do the recover, it's gonna be the huge data in the remote site. So sometimes it's really a faster way. Actually, many of our customers, they are using this way. They prefer to when they want to restore something, they just get the data into an image, put it into a hard drive, and then just ship this hard drive to the headquarters and restore them.
This will be also faster. So these are the new ways that we can provide you a protection when you want to restore your snapshot. And this will be all the thing that we want to give you for the TVS-x72XT. Well, I will do a simple recap. First of all, that is a spec that we have 2 of the Thunderbolt 3 and 1 of the 10 gigabit port for as RJ45. And the second part is we have 2 extra M.2 SSD slots for NVMe, which will be much more faster than the SATA type. And then the snapshot and the SSD over provisioning, we also have new ways for you to make your current hardware device work better, right? And of course, 3 of these NASes are using the 8th generation of the Intel processor. So we have i3, i5, and the Pentium Gold.
Right.
And I believe this machine will be a very good partner for you to cooperate with a different platform, or you just want to create your new work group with a very fast transmission speed and a high level to your like transcoding or any of the other requirement that you can all download from our QNAP App Center. So thank you for your comment, David, and if you like our video, please subscribe our channel and don't forget to go to the live.qnap.com. Don't forget to go to the live.qnap.com. Where is it? It's right here, the live.qnap.com. And we will see you next time on QNAP Live Broadcast. Bye.
Bye.